A short while ago, you, like myself and everybody across Newfoundland and Labrador, seen the long-awaited Greene report dropped upon us. We did not know what the details were, but we have speculated for some time what could be in it. Well, today we found out. Here at NAPE, we are now pouring through the 300 and something pages of that document. It's important that we analyze what's in there, but today I thought it was really important that I reach out to you personally in between the media interviews, in between the things that we're trying to work through with this document, and touch base personally. If this report is implemented, it will affect you, it'll affect your families, it'll affect your communities, and it would be devastating if implemented in its totality. For example, this report calls for cutbacks at MUN, CNA, core government, agency boards and commissions, where many of you work. That would be devastating to you and in vital services you provide. There's no way to accomplish these goals without significant layoffs. We've heard this government before talk about no mass layoffs. What the brief review we've done of this report so far leads us to believe there will be layoffs. It calls for the sale of government services, including a specific recommendation to sell NLC. NLC generates the employees there who have worked through this pandemic, and you have generated income that ensures our education system, our healthcare system is supported through those valuable resources. And I want to thank you for what you've done there, the employees of the NLC. It talks about interfering with our collective bargaining process, a process that should be respected, a process that we've had many battles over in the past. It talks about indefinite wage freezes. It talks about using legislation if necessary. And I assure you, NAPE will stand against and fight against any suggested legislation that impacts our collective bargaining rights, your rights. It talks about pension rollbacks of public service employees, though we have already made significant changes. You're working longer, paying more, just to attain a pension that you could have attained years ago. You've done your part already with the pension plan. We know there are challenges in this province. We've repeatedly said it. You have said it. We have said we're prepared to do our part. Austerity is not the answer. We have seen many examples, not only in Canada but across the globe, where austerity measures have not worked. This process itself was flawed. We have said that from the beginning. We are invited to, myself and Secretary Treasurer Trevor King, on December the 8th, I do believe, where we were talked to or talked down to as frontline workers, as representative workers. We were not consulted with. We were not included. This was not an open, collaborative, transparent process. This was a process that took place in back rooms. A process that included people from outside of this province. A process that included people that chose not to live here any longer. Even today, when this Greene report was dropped upon us, it was again discussed by the leader of this PERT from the comfort of her home in the United Kingdom. It is concerning what is in this report to all of us. This is not about Moya Greene. This is not about Premier Fury. This is not about Jerry Earle. This is about all of us collectively. We have repeatedly said, as your union, your leadership, and you collectively, this is our province too. We care about it. We want it to be prosperous, and we know we have to be part of the solution. But the target cannot be on the backs of frontline workers all the time. This is about our future, your future, the future of your children, and our communities right across Newfoundland and Labrador. It's about fairness, about dignity and respect for hard-working people, not just NAPE members. It's about every worker in this province, workers that don't have a collective voice, workers that have worked side by side with public sector employees in the retail industry, that have put food on our tables while our public sector employees worked, about our private sector members that have worked through the entirety of this pandemic, Country Ribbon, Browning Harvey, purity factories and others that have produced goods and hardly missed a day of production during this entirety of this pandemic. We need to be in this fight together. Make no mistake, NAPE will not accept this austerity agenda. We will put the full force of our union behind the frontline workers to mobilize, to fight back. Again, it's not about me, Jerry Earle. You elected me as your leader, but I am one person. Not about Trevor King, the Secretary-Treasurer, again, but one person. But I assure you, you have our full commitment to stand with you against the measures that are suggested in this Greene report. We know we have to do things. We know we have to be collaborative. We've offered that in the past, and we will do that going forward. But this is not collaboration. This was supposed to be an interim report, which all of a sudden, on the conclusion of a lengthy election, became a final report. A report that makes a wide range of recommendations. And now they talk about consultation. All the recommendations are there. Is there going to be true consultation now? Are we going to have any real input? Or is this going to be about trying to figure out which of these recommendations they can have the general public? Don't buy the rhetoric. Don't buy the rhetoric. We will work collaboratively and on your behalf to the best of our ability. But you're going to have to reach out to your elected officials, your MHAs. You're going to ask them where they stand on the recommendations in this report. And make no doubt about it, myself, Trevor King, the board of directors of NAPE, and the staff of NAPE will stand shoulder to shoulder with you in the days, weeks, and months ahead.